All right, let's take a live look at the big board at the New York Stock Exchange. You can see it closed higher today than yesterday. Good news for investors. Now let's take a look at our interactive stock market heat map brought to you by FinViz. Wow, what a different picture. A lot of green on that board. This shows the top 500 stocks. As you can see, stocks making a big comeback today after Trump signaled that he would cancel tonight's strikes against Iran. So I want to bring in CBS News Money Watch correspondent Kelly O'Grady. Kelly, the producer price index came in much higher than expected for May. Can you tell us what that means for everyday consumers?
Okay, so let's just start with the producer price index. This is something that we track because we like to see how prices are growing, not just for consumers, that's what we talked about yesterday, but for producers, for companies that are making the goods that you and I buy ultimately. And so if costs rise for producers, it would follow that they are either going to absorb them or they're going to pass them on to us. And normally, even if they try and absorb them for a while, like we saw companies do quite significantly with tariffs, they ultimately do pass at least some of it on to us. And so this May reading, it was a lot larger than expected. We saw the producer price index, it rose at an annual rate of 6.5%, on a monthly rate of over 1%. That was quite significant. The good news, if you will, is that most of it was driven by energy. The bad news is that we do see that energy inflation that we talked about yesterday with the consumer price index has actually started to spread to other areas of the economy when you're thinking about producer prices, the cost that companies are seeing, or the cost that companies are paying to produce the goods that we buy. So it doesn't mean for sure that we're going to see that in the cost of goods that you and I pay at the store, but it is an early warning sign that there is more inflation to come.
We're also expecting to see SpaceX to price tonight in what has been an unconventional IPO process, to say the least, so far. What do we know ahead of tomorrow's debut?
This is going to be really exciting. I love a good IPO, Liz. We haven't really had a big one like this in a long time. So I'm thrilled. It's, of course, going to set off a number of IPOs that we're expecting this year, including Anthropic and OpenAI later this year. Specifically for tomorrow, a couple things to keep in mind. We are expecting a target price of $135. So when it starts trading, it's not going to be right when the bell happens at 9:30. It's likely going to be more midday. Think about 135. See, is it higher? Is it lower? How much does it fluctuate throughout the day? The second thing is that this is going to be a valuation when it's all said and done by the end of the day that likely has SpaceX as a company valued at over $1 trillion, maybe even close to $2 trillion, depending on how it trades. So it's really, really big. It's going to likely make Elon Musk, who is the majority owner of the company, a trillionaire. But here's the other thing to think about. This is not just a company about space. It also includes Elon Musk's AI initiative. So this is kind of an interesting, funky little mix of a company that does sort of all comport together. But that's really important because AI companies, we've talked about this all the time, Liz, they do really well on the stock market, right? That's what's been driving a lot of this investor excitement. The other thing to keep in mind in the long term, Elon Musk companies, we see this in Tesla, don't always trade with the fundamentals of the company. They also trade with the man and things that he says on social media. He's gotten involved in politics before in the administration. Investors didn't love that. You saw Tesla trade more with some of those developments than the fundamentals of the company. That's something I'm looking for with SpaceX as well.
It is so interesting to see, to your point about one man having so much impact on the global economy. Elon Musk is just one person, but yet he leaves a giant wake wherever he goes. All right, Kelly, I'm so excited that you're ready for this IPO, baby. Forget the World Cup. We're looking at the IPOs.
I love it. Girl after my own heart.
All right, I want to talk to you tomorrow to watch this thing and see where it goes. All right, Kelly, thanks so much.